Okay. They share a border, right?
Not really. Kind of. Maybe. Depending on how you look at it.
Yeah.
They do, but not really.
Not really.
Are we here?
Yeah, we here.
I think
Bros.
Ad Bros,
Episode 6.
6.
6.
I'm from the South.
Yeah.
You know?
Jordan got 6 rings, so
Oh, shouts to
it's a
Jordan.
special one.
I mean,
Okay.
it's special because of that. I'm saying 6 because we got my man Ricardo here.
Ricardo in the house.
welcome.
Hey, Ricardo!
Hey, Lucy.
All right, yeah. So you got
Hey,
myself,
man, Spanish about this brother.
Tony Stallion in the building.
Chingato madre.
Oh, never mind.
You got Easy Rose, my
Yo,
man AD.
All day AD.
And we got special guest here, Ricardo.
What's up? What's up?
And let's just call out that this is the first Ab Bros guest, Ricardo. So
Yeah, welcome.
The first non-ab bro guest.
Well, you know,
You still a brother.
you're still a brother.
Yeah, okay.
So technically, you're an ad bro.
My
Right.
resume got 1 page, not 2.
It's the best resumes.
So it's March Madness. Should student athletes get paid? How do you guys feel about that?
I don't know. It's weird because the colleges are making a lot of money off these guys.
Millions of
Millions.
dollars. Coaches are
if
making like 50
nothing else,
million.
if nothing else, they got to take care of their mom's expenses.
Yeah.
You know, pay a light bill, maybe pay off, you know, if she got rent or a house note, pay that off the whole time they're playing, right? I don't know if they should get paid because they are there to get an education, yet they're making the college millions. So I don't know if it should be like some type of royalty thing, but I guess that's getting paid.
yeah,
right?
perhaps. And then the other thing too is like, how do you scale?
Yeah.
Like who gets paid, like
What?
and how much that student athlete gets
Right.
paid, because
True.
like you have D1, D2, D3
Exactly.
schools, and you know the schools that are making the most money, like those are those D1 schools, and they bring in a certain amount of dollars
Yeah.
that those D2 and D3 schools aren't bringing in. So
I
Maybe
mean-
it's tier based. I personally think they should get paid just based on maybe even the amount of wins. If you have a team like Kentucky, they are like always in it, Elite 8 most of the time, Kansas, schools like that. So when you get recruits that go in there, they're going to get TV placement, they're going to get commercials, they're going to get merchandising, and these young men and women get used during that 1 to 4 years they're in college, and the college benefits. And some of them never even make it to the NBA, but they were used in order to bring in revenue to the colleges for all those years.
Right.
So they should get something. There should be some kind of
Pay their mama's bills.
I mean,
or get rid of their loans.
That too.
You know.
Yeah.
They don't
I mean,
have to
most
pay
of them
them.
get
If they-
free.
Most of them come in scholarship,
scholarship,
right?
so they wouldn't have a loan, I
Yeah,
think.
I mean, sometimes they have partial scholarships.
Right.
Okay.
Sometimes these cats don't go in, and they don't play until like maybe their varsity year,
Right.
Things like
So-
that.
Other stuff that's bringing the college money, do these students get paid now?
It's true.
So, like, to me, it opens up Pandora's box to, like, you move from students to employees, and, like, where's the differentiation? How does that affect your grades? I mean, I don't know.
I say, if nothing else, take care of their family. And when I say family, I'm talking about like your mom or parents. At least nothing else, right? Because some of these guys are making it college a lot of money, shit ton of money, and their moms are barely like even paying the rent.
Right.
You know, they got the lights off probably,
Yeah.
and they probably bumming a ride to get to work. I mean, it's like, come on, you know, like
It's a lot
at
of
least
shit.
help them to help you, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yo,
I mean, even
go ahead.
maybe if they get used in the products and TV commercials advertising these
all
games,
that shit.
should they not get paid for doing a commercial?
Hey,
You know, on CBS News and things like that, ESPN, they just show up, get some makeup, and then they go home.
in our text chat, we always talk about culture vultures.
Right. I want to hear Rose's point of view on this.
I think it's a difficult thing though.
Yeah.
It is.
Like to kind of, because, you know, I don't know if you can. If you decide to come out with a style of music, right? Like, can you own that style of music? Like, can
That's true.
someone else say, like, oh, yeah, I was inspired by that? And
If you trademark it.
That is true.
I mean, if you what T.I. was like supposedly the godfather of trap music. And then now you got like a whole genre of hip hop called trap.
So T.I. gets paid every time someone says trap?
But he didn't incorporate it.
Yeah.
I mean, Kool Herc, some would say, and I know Ricardo here would probably battle me on this, that, you know, he's the godfather of hip hop. But then you had other people like Grandmaster Flowers and these other players in the game of hip hop doing the same thing that Kool Herc was doing. It's just Kool Herc kind of was the man at the time, right?
Yeah, right.
I
But
mean,
none of those guys trademarked it.
Yeah, I mean, I remember watching an interview where Baby said he wished he would have trademarked
Bling
bling
bling.
bling when Lil Wayne said it.
Right.
Because then, I mean, it became like a whole era of a couple years of people were just saying.
I'm glad you brought that up because supposedly the guys who started Pen and Pixels Graphics, according to them, from the Vice documentary about Pen and Pixels Graphics, that they gave the idea of bling bling to Baby. That's what to say, but I don't know.
I mean,
And they're not black, by the way.
that's all I was gonna say.
Did Columbus discover America?
No.
Okay.
All right,
There
well,
you
end
go.
that there. Think about it. No small talk when it comes to telling the truth. So I speaking of Ricardo, why don't you give us a topic? You know, we here,
Well,
we just
I
going
could,
off
I
the
could
rip,
say a couple
man.
of things about what you brothers were just talking about. With the cultural appropriation,
Yeah,
I started off back in the day where in Queens, dancing in the this whole
Oh, you
new
was breaking?
genre. I was popping,
Oh,
breaking,
that's dope.
and dancing for a rap group.
oh, that's dope.
And I remember my dance partner and I created a move, and we were downstairs in the front of the house in East Elmhurst practicing said move, and a car drove by that was filled with some other dancers that we knew, and they slowed down watching us doing said move, drove past, drove around the block, came back and watched us. A month later, we saw said move in a music video.
Oh shit.
And it came up where we were sitting there watching the video with a lot of other folks that know we came up with said move. And I realized back when I was a teenager that you can't copyright things that you create outside of a company. If you're in these corporations and you sign your name, you got NDAs, you have ownership, then you can say you own it. But we created the dance move, and I realized, you know what? You can't copyright a dance move.
Yeah, that was kind of like that was the point I was trying to make earlier.
And
Or can you? They
No,
come
you-
in the genomes.
but you know what? This is back in the early days, AD, when hip hop was brand new. This is in the golden age of hip hop. And what are we going to do? Go back and say, you know what? We put it on Facebook. There was no Facebook. And guess what? There was no internet. There was no camera phones. You know what it becomes? Your word against theirs.
Right.
And this is just part of creating stuff. Now, if someone's going to steal it, that's
people
usually
always steal.
Well, you know, when someone steals the stuff that you create and you think it's really dope, you know it's really dope when they steal it. And how can you find a way to get something out of it also? I think that's the real challenge.
Yeah, and you know, you were just talking about like cultural appropriation, right? Now, because I was gonna ask the group that drove pop by, right? Were they
The
of
same color as me.
Okay, because like, so they're not stealing. Because like, I think like cultural appropriation is like when the more dominant race or culture come and
But
take.
is it? But is it? And see, that's
But
the thing.
yeah,
Put it like this: the who stole it from us had more than us. And then is it cultural appropriation
Or just
based on
stealing?
race, or cultural appropriation based on class? And
Probably
then you think
both.
about it like that.
Right.
It's like they were at the top of the food chain. They making videos. We coming up with
Gotcha.
dance moves in the driveway. So which one is it?
That's
is
interesting.
it class or is it race?
That's
I
it.
think it's both
Yeah.
because class and race are cousins, right? But it definitely leans somewhere a little bit more towards class, which sometimes influence racial issues because they're both cousins.
Yeah.
I mean, to your point, right? Like, you can own the infrastructure, but your goal for owning infrastructure and distribution is putting culture into it. You may not come up with that culture, but you having like the infrastructure is to put culture into it, and a lot of time is looking for culture that you would never come
Right.
up with.
Yo, it's so funny that you tell a story. Like, so have you shared that story with other people?
There's like 10 people that know this.
And how do they look at you when you share that story with them?
First of all, they don't believe it
Right. So
Why they don't believe?
so here's the thing.
because they weren't there and it ain't on Facebook.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. It's so funny that you say that. Growing up, we used to go to parties. I was like 14, maybe 13, 15 years old. We would go to parties no matter where we were in Brooklyn, Flatbush, East New York, and we would always chant out in the basement party, Brownsville, Brownsville. Like, that's to let everybody know Brownsville's in the building. Fabulous, the rapper, comes up with the song, Brooklyn. Brooklyn. And I used to be like, damn, that sounds very familiar. But then, you know, you got the Barclays Center,
Yes, sir.
Nets games. Everybody's throwing out the chant, Brooklyn. And I'm like, wow, that's crazy. So when I tell people that, to what your point was, they wasn't there, so they look at me like I'm bugging out. And I'm like, yo, all right, you know, let me shut up because, like, I'm looking crazy right now. So,
That's an interesting way of looking at it. I mean,
like, we used to chant that out everywhere we went in Brooklyn. So
Now, Rose, I used to hear that in parties in Queens, and you knew it was time to leave the party. Because when you hear
The same
that chant,
cadence?
same cadence
Okay. Then
back in the day
Okay.
that you was in Queens, in the hearse, or you in Jamaica, Queens, means you about to get robbed. Time to
Oh,
bounce.
watch out.
Brooklyn cats
streets
is in
got to
here.
eat.
Yeah, we got to be out.
that's funny. Damn, that's good. Nike's infamous annual Air Max Day is coming up, where they basically celebrate Air Max as a shoe. And if you into Nikes, you wear your Air Max, point blank, period. How important do you guys think it is working in marketing to market to subcultures? Like, do you think people are missing a mark when they don't speak to specific subcultures for a brand? Or do you think it's just like, all right, well, eventually they'll get it?
For
Or
them,
they
if
might
the
buy
check is
something.
there and they missed out on that check, then it's important. But if it's a situation where there could have been a check, but then what they thought with it, how it was supposed to turn out, and it was just like a fad for a moment, then they're like, oh yeah, we saved our money. In my opinion,
I think brands, agencies, or whatever, if they're smart, they know how to tap into the culture, right, without being suckers. But the reality of it is, they kind of almost have to do it because the culture is going to do it itself without the brand. It's just, if a brand is smart, they would empower that. So I don't know. Mind you, I've never owned a pair of Air Max a day in my life, but I do love the design, right? I don't know if that's something that they pull directly from the culture, and maybe they have, or there's something that they created in the culture embrace. I think Shadow on the last episode was mentioning that, you know, agencies and, you know, brands used to help create culture, but nowadays they're just kind of following culture, right? Which goes back to, I guess, the culture appropriation conversation we just had. So, do I think it's, you know, important? I think so, if I'm part of that brand engagement. But if I'm not a person who wear Air Max, it's like, no, whatever.
But I think the success of the day opens up the door for for something that you might like to do something. It might be, oh shit, it's actually pretty successful.
Like,
Because it's global.
what does Air Max Day entail? Just me
Literally,
rocking a pair of Air Max?
Yeah.
you're just
That's
acknowledging
You
like your
just
favorite colors.
Acknowledging
you're
that I got-
acknowledging the shoe as a staple in the Nike brand.
How long Air
And they
Max
do
been out?
events. Since
I
the
want to say
90s.
89
Oh, really?
probably.
Let's
Yeah.
Google it real quick.
'Cause I think the first Air. I mean, I know the
87.
first Air Max is like
Air Max 1s.
90.
No,
Oh,
it was Air Max 1s, I believe. I could be wrong, but
Yeah.
I know that it was like Air Max 90s.
And from what I know they do events, they do parties, and it's global. It's like they do it in London, they do it in New York.
Yeah, but why do people like Air Max? What do you think that is?
Style.
I mean,
Okay,
for what I noticed with the design, and me being a designer, it's one of the first shoes that you actually got a chance to see the air in a shoe beyond just that slither. Like the entire sole, you
Like
could
the
see
bubble,
was
yeah.
filled with air, right? So it almost made the design somewhat transparent or translucent. So you get a chance to see in the shoe without going in the shoe, right?
Yeah. I think what makes it still sort of a
It came
kinda
out in
cool.
'87.
I
Okay.
think I said that. I was
You
close.
did say that.
Yeah,
but
you're close.
But like the thing about Nike, with it being such a big brand, right? Like you take Nike and you take Supreme.
Right.
Like, Supreme is a brand that kind of came from like the street. Like
Right.
it was skateboarders, street fashion, and then it grew from I think like when it was early '90s till now. Now you see J.R. Smith win Supreme and Game.
Yeah, it was
like,
a skateboard brand.
Right.
Yeah.
Then you have Nike, who is a big company. He's been a big company for Lord knows how long, and they still have a shoe like that's a staple and it means something to people. I don't know. I find that really interesting that they're able to still pull that off and making people still care, and just paying like close attention to details on that.
Well, if you look at the Air Max, ironically, it was designed by the same designer that designed the Jordan. Tinker Hatfield.
Tinker.
He's amazing.
He's amazing. He didn't come up with the air technology. It was this guy by the name of Frank Rudy. But he designed that original silhouette. And as you know anything about the Jordan silhouette, it's almost like Nike had two different, I guess, brand experiences that are kind of taking off and becoming its own thing at the exact same time. Using the same technology, which is the air technology, by the same designer. So maybe that's the significance.
Maybe. I think to your point, it's like to me it's a good way to show how a brand's legacy can be celebrated. And I think Nike, I don't know if they're the first brand to do it, but they do a great job of retroing shoes. So they do a great job of reintroducing themselves to a new set of kids that want to buy this shoe. Same thing they've been doing with Jordan.
So let me ask you a question, quick question about Jordan. Sorry, cutting my
No, that's cool.
So, and I had this conversation with someone not too long ago. Do you think that the success of the Jordan brand and the shoe, and like you have young kids who've never seen Michael Jordan play
Right.
a day in their lives,
Yeah.
but they're still
Never seen the ads.
never seen
none of that.
Mars Blackman,
Never seen
any
none of
of
that.
this, and they're still getting excited about this shoe, this tennis shoe. Do you think that's attributed to Michael Jordan's success as a champion and just being this all-time great athlete, or is it just the shoe just being hot and then like people seeing that like their older cousins having it and like all their friends having it and saying like, yo, I want to have that because my friend have it?
The shoe being hot.
I think it should be hot.
Really?
I think
Yeah.
it's tradition.
It is tradition too.
I think it's like a
wanna hear
rites
what
of
you say.
passage.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's tradition.
You should be able to
growing
buy
up,
your own Jordans.
Because growing up, like, I hate to say this, but growing up, I didn't really know who Jordan was until I got older. But in school, I always heard people say, "Oh, you don't got Jordans? Oh, Jordans." So to me, that's why it's like the shoe is like there was this like
Jordans was the thing you got
ambiance.
shot over back
Yeah.
in the days.
well that tut.
I mean, let's be real. It was that shoe that was a
Right.
polarizing silhouette.
Yeah,
It was and here's the thing about Jordan shoes. They made Jordans, but it was a select amount they made, right?
Yeah.
So now Jordan's releasing the silhouette at least a colorway every week.
that's the
now.
thing though. Like,
But back
I
in
feel
the
like
days,
colors
you
or something like that.
if you didn't get that Jordan, that was it. And if you had that Jordan, you walk in the streets, you may get got. So it's
I mean, yeah,
it was exclusivity, it was scarcity,
I agree.
When the
and
streets are
brand.
hungry,
Let's be
yeah.
real, it's a brand too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like bragging rights.
Yeah.
I mean-
but I think I don't know. Like my point of view was like it was attributed to his success because
I
like
think
the
so,
fact that
too.
he kept winning.
Yeah.
And it's like, all right, what he did for, we talked to another brother.
If you're familiar with basketball, I feel like it's about success. If you're not, to me, I think it's about the coolness and the ambiance of the shoe. Because when I did more research and I saw what he won in and the shoes he wore, I liked them more.
But he didn't like the first.
Oh yeah, he hated
shoes.
He was about to leave Jordan.
Yeah. I think Tinker was the one.
No, but the third one was what kept them. But
that's the one Tinker started designing. The three.
Yeah.
But I think his success like trickles down to that, and the reason why I say that is because like when we talked to another ad bro, and he's from Chicago, and he's like, like being from Chicago and cats watching Michael Jordan play, like they would be in their house at like 8 o'clock watching the game, and like how the violence and like drug sales were like going down in Chicago, like that's impact. Like I feel like his greatness and his impact kind of like trickles down. So like now, the influence, and you got your favorite artist or whoever, your favorite athlete, like wearing it now. It's like, oh, I like those sneakers. They got young people like want to actually purchase those shoes. But
I've been hearing that not necessarily just the Jordan brand, but just Nike as a company has been falling behind the Three Stripe company, Adidas.
I don't think so.
No, actually, they got numbers to prove that.
All right, from a culture standpoint, I feel like they've been doing stuff to stay relevant.
Well, I think Nike's supply chain is real. You can't deny that. They can crank out a silhouette like that. I think Adidas been killing it with the culture because of their influence with style and design, and using that with sneaker culture. I mean, all these hype beast dudes reselling the Yeezys, which the Yeezys lately have been like repurposed Reeboks. Yeah, right.
But to me, there's no other shoe there's not that many shoes in Adidas that are like reselling and crazy. Like Kanye's is, but like I feel like Nike, the Vapor Max, they've been killing it with that. Let me go through my Nike.
Yeah,
they got a lot of cool
I mean, also have been able to like acquire like some good athletes. Like you got James Harden,
right?
And you got like who else is on Adidas? I think Damian Lillard, right? So like you got all these cool like new athletes, and that's the thing I was saying about Jordan. You got Pharrell, right? Obviously like Kanye, and that's the influence, right? Because if you don't put those faces behind it, like it's just a shoe, and will anybody be excited about it? And that's how same thing I felt about Jordan. Like if you moved his name and his legacy away from those shoes, would people care? I don't think so.
Away from the sneaker culture.
Exactly.
You remove Jordan from the equation, and do people really care about sneakers like that?
And that was my argument, and that's why I thought it was like the impact had to do with his success.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Be
like
bro.
Mike.
Go ahead, bro. Step up to the mic.
I'm gonna speak my truth. I feel like
true, brother.
I feel like Jordan had an impact on Nike and the brand and the shoe, but I just feel like there are so many great shoes. Like
ACGs.
They did the what's the Andre Agassi's? They
Yeah,
did
I
a lot
remember
of
those.
netted shoes. Like both.
I couldn't afford those back in the day.
Both Adidas and fucking Jordan have so many classic shoes that we could go through.
Yeah, the shell toes.
Like, yeah.
That's
But
like for me, the Stan Smith is like the ultimate.
That's the ultimate silhouette.
Silhouette.
Absolutely, but everything that you just named had an influencer or some name highlighted behind it.
That's true.
So you said Andre Agassi, big name. You talking
Run
about
DMC.
Shell Toes, Run DMC.
Yeah.
Stan Smith.
Stan
That's
Smith.
actually
So,
tennis player.
Yeah.
Let's remove the name Pharrell. Those are incredible, but let's remove the names that are associated with the shoe and talk about the actual shoe.
So you think the shoes, all regardless of who,
There's a reason why they do it.
You think they wouldn't be hot? Yeah, because Virgil Abloh's would not be that hot if he wasn't.
I mean, it's funny. The off-white
No offense.
first joints look like Adidas.
I gotta look those up.
I
The
got
ones
it.
you got? Oh
Well,
yeah, the ones you got.
It's just
yeah.
multiple stripes, but those really Adidas in terms of the silhouette.
Yeah. Nah, for sure. That's an interesting point. So you're saying an influencer? I think design and influencer combined makes it a hot shoe.
I agree,
think-
but they can't live apart.
Nah.
I don't
So
know.
that's the point I'm trying to make.
I
Like
think-
the name is more important.
I think Nike got design, like pure design, which is all about how it really works per se.
Because they're athletics first.
Because they're athletics first, right? I think Adidas, outside of soccer, they got style.
Right.
They got
style.
lifestyle.
Do you think
You're not
Under Armour-
shooting with some shell
Do you
toe.
think Under Armour be selling any sneakers if Steph Curry
They're
wasn't
not
there?
selling
No.
shit.
Yeah,
This
but
is
I
trash.
see way more kids with Under Armour sneakers just
Because of Steph.
So
Yeah.
Influencer.
the influencer.
You're right.
That logo, they need to change that logo, man.
Hey,
That shit
It's like a
ugly as
samurai.
fuck. Huh?
That logo like a samurai.
It's too big.
It is. It's a little horsey. Or
They should have
something,
did the
I would
dad
say.
shoe before all these other companies started doing the dad shoe.
Yeah, but the dad shit was trash.
I'm just saying.
Whatever. I'm not paid by it. I don't give a
My man Ricardo.
Yes, sir.
I know we talked about it on the last podcast, but I want to bring it back up. Marketing is based off of data, personalities, what other fuck you use to track people? Do you think? Here's my question: do you think people are giving up? Are we giving up too much data to people, to these companies like Netflix? Because not just do we. I think when people sign up,
question.
they just kind of like, you know how that like contract comes up and it's
Right.
like, do you agree? I don't.
no
have
one's
you ever
reading
read it?
that long.
Yeah. No.
Have you ever read it?
I read it
I
once.
started out reading
once.
it. But
Have you ever read it?
But most
Like when
of it-
Apple updates you and you get this fucking 5-page.
No.
Yeah, I actually have to read it because that's my job. Like,
Oh well, you don't use it, Mac. You're not an Apple guy.
But no,
Yeah, I do.
he read
Oh,
everything.
You read everything.
He read
I know.
everything.
Shouts to that.
Yeah.
I don't read shit. I do read it.
shit, I'm gonna text you to see if I should do my next update.
well, that's maybe a side business for me. Reading everyone's, information before they actually click yes at the bottom of that form.
I read the instructions on how to use a device. I just don't read the other stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I
That's
don't
still
really
important.
important.
Yeah.
The legal
The
stuff.
legal stuff, because basically once you sign that, you're giving up your rights.
You're giving up
Or you
something.
could be giving up your rights.
Yeah.
Well, are
do you
people giving up too much of their privacy? I think it really depends on what's on what's the carrot that's being hung in front of you. How bad you want that carrot. If you want to be able to go to Chase and be able to transact without having to log in over and over and over again and have that saved, if they want to advertise to you in order to have that convenience, it may be worth it for you. But if you're just posting some pictures on Facebook, maybe they don't really actually need to follow you on the internet when you're not on Facebook, which they can. If you have multiple browsers open or multiple tabs open, while you're in Facebook on Chrome, they see everything.
They tracking it.
And
Oh, can you repeat that? Because I didn't know that.
Yeah, yeah.
if you have multiple tabs open on a Chrome browser, and I'm only saying Chrome because it's the number one browser.
Oh,
in
it
the
happens
world.
in Firefox too. Yeah. It's not just Chrome.
No, but
I'm
with,
not on
with Firefox, they do have a set of rules that they set up because that's an open source browser.
It's true because it's built off WebKit.
Right.
Yeah.
But if you're in Chrome, then it's Google, and they're in the business of data. So
I didn't know that.
That's
Well,
why
I
we
knew
have
they were in the
Android.
business of data, but I didn't know that that first part.
yeah, it's all tracking you.
Like
you want to be able
cookies.
to get on the internet. So how bad do you want to get on the internet and be you want to be able to travel without anything stopping you.
Seamless.
So when you're on the internet, it's the same thing. You want to go through a bunch of checkpoints.
Right.
Every time you make a move, you want to go to that vending machine and have a police officer stop you. What's your name? Are you really you? No, I just want to go by. Keep my name. That's surfing the web.
Tony
how
Stagg
bad
might
do
get
you
his
want to
VP
be
game
private?
up. Look at that. He's downloading a VPN app right now.
I'm doing it, man.
And
I'm trying to be
VPNs.
private.
So everyone's talking about they want to use a VPN. So a VPN is capturing your data. Okay, that means another company you never heard of has your data instead of the company you know. At least you know Facebook. At least you know Google. You don't know them people in that VPN office in downtown Brooklyn with 10 people. They could be anybody.
That's true.
That's true.
So you hear VPN, it's like, okay, this
People
random
shout,
company.
it sounds like buzzwords, basically, because
Yeah.
people just shouting it out, but they don't really.
It's just another checkpoint that allows you to scramble who you are.
Virtual private network.
Right, but the thing is, these are all private companies
Right.
that are giving you a VPN
Right.
for free.
So in other words, they still got that.
So when it's free, you're saying basically.
If it's not free. It's
Dude,
free.
Whenever
for
anything is
access.
free, out here walking down the street, you should be suspicious.
Yeah.
If it's online, it's the same thing.
Yeah, I only use VPNs to if I'm not in the office and I need to get to share folders.
Yeah.
Then I from home, I go
same thing.
access it from the VPN.
Right. So that's a private network that's actually for your job.
Right.
So they know that you are you, and they're allowing you on their network. You could be anybody else, and they won't allow you.
Yeah, I put my name in and they shoot me a text with a special code.
Yeah, this is you. This is really Rose.
So you're not using that Opera VPN?
Opera VPN.
Yeah, Opera is a web browser.
No.
But you can use it as a VPN as well.
Oh. Damn.
And how are they making money?
School me.
What data? They're collecting your data. They're selling it probably on the web, dark web, open web, multiple webs. There's more than one web. This is geek talking.
Yeah, this is where we
Geeking
get
out.
into the meat of it.
Geek monster.
There's no such thing as privacy. Unless you're going to be under your bed, writing notes to yourself, and sliding it to your family. There's no privacy. I think that's a myth.
Oh yeah, basically there is no privacy. To a lighter topic.
Ooh, that got heavy. That got too
got
real.
heavy.
Nobody wants to hear that.
We didn't even start
Got
talking
quiet
about
on this.
There's no such thing as
but
privacy, America.
basically. But to a lighter topic, because I know you're into comics, right?
Yeah.
All right. AD, I know you were born and raised on comics.
Basically, it's
I know you dabble a little bit. I mean,
No, you're
Marvel
right.
Infinity Wars is
Infinity
coming.
War. Yeah.
What are some of your predictions for the movie?
Death.
What's gonna happen?
Man.
Damn.
Death.
I thought we were going to a lighter subject.
But no, I mean, but that's what happened.
Yeah.
But nobody never died in
Yeah.
comics.
I mean, it's if you want to be real about it, it's contracts.
Yeah.
I think
those
Captain
people
America-
die.
Chris Hemsworth,
I think he's gonna die.
his contract's up.
I think he's gonna die.
No.
It makes sense.
Not him. The guy who plays Captain America, I forget his name. His
Evans.
contract's up.
Chris Evans.
Chris Evans.
Chris Evans, Iron Man.
By the way,
His
he's
contract's
been
up.
Captain America. He's been Johnny Blaze. He's been a lot.
Nobody really pays attention to
No,
that.
they don't. Those two
Fantastic
different
Four
studios,
is
by the
basically
way.
done.
Two different studios, same one.
Yeah.
I mean, look, it's Hollywood.
Funny
they
thing
gotta
is-
they gotta switch this up.
Yeah.
I mean,
To keep it fresh. Keep
Robert
it alive.
Downey Jr. been Iron Man now since over 10 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I moved to
That's a
New
nice
York 10
track.
years ago. I went to see the first Iron Man at Lincoln.
Oh, that's a good theater.
Yeah,
You know,
it's great
86.
theater, right? But that was 10 years ago. So it's just kind of time for them to flip it up. But even in
That's how you keep it fresh and keep it relevant.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But even in the comics, this is when a lot of the MCU comes together and go more like, beyond Earth. So it kind of makes sense with Infinity War that it's going into the realm of
The multiverse.
multiverse.
Yeah. They want to expand their brands.
I guess the big question is, what does this look like for something like a Black Panther? Because we've seen multiple.
They're still gonna do. I think they already got the green light for Black Panther 2.
Black Panther's not going anywhere. It's still making money as we sitting there.
It's true.
Do you think
Billy.
it's
Just
funny.
overtook Avengers today.
Just speaking to people at the job, a lot of people haven't seen it. Now I'm not, calling.
And you know what?
Yeah,
You're right.
So, do you think that
The
people will be
haters.
petty and go check out the Infinity Wars, to spite not seeing? I mean, despite Black Panther.
Technically,
people
they
are
can
gonna
see
see
Infinity
because
Wars
Black Panther's
and not
in it.
see Black Panther.
Yeah. That brings me to our segment. Do we care? Should you care? / should you care?
Oh, can you break it down to
Ricardo?
Ricardo.
All right. So
What the
basically,
segment is?
Do we care is a list of topics. You could kind of answer it really quick with one sentence, or we could go into deeper explanation of
Rapid fire?
fast topics of.
And it could be objective or subjective. So,
Yeah.
you can do both. You can say as from culture, we should care, but personally, I don't care because X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I know we were just speaking about comics. Bring this up. This is a little bit kind of old news, but still really relevant. Ava DuVernay is directing DC Films' New Gods. Should you care? Should we care? In the
I
works.
just want to
Yeah,
know a
it's in
little
the
bit more
works.
about
Yeah.
the project.
Okay.
Oh, you
I
talking
respect
about-
that.
Yeah,
So,
New Gods?
yeah, New Gods.
it's gonna be dope.
I think it's gonna be dope.
Yeah.
It's basically gonna be DC's version of could be Avengers, but definitely
That's what.
Infinity
Yeah, that's
War,
what I was.
Yeah, I want to
Isn't
do
that
my
Justice
homework on
League?
it. I'm gonna do some more homework on it, then I'll let you know if I
But
can.
originally,
facts.
the thing she recently did, it's a kid movie.
But I mean,
It's a kid movie.
the budget was crazy, and it hasn't made. I don't even think it's. Well, I would have to do more research. Don't quote me on it, but I don't think it's made as much as they spent to make the movie. Like, I don't even think it's reached like a third.
True.
You mean break even?
Yeah, it hasn't even broken even. So,
Yeah.
so it's like, again, that's not her fault. She was just given a budget and she made the fucking movie. But like, it just looks at. I don't know.
But it's not like A Wrinkle in Time will never be something like a Black Panther because of the timing and because of
the
Black
relevancy.
Panther's part of a bigger universe. It's kind of hard to compare the two.
That's true.
I think they had a low expectation for. I mean, in the grand, it wasn't. I don't think they thought it was going to be a blockbuster.
Nah, probably not.
I think they were.
A Wrinkle in Time.
Yeah, because I think they had it pegged for $30 million for that weekend,
Right.
and it made like 20 something million. You know, this is something that may have some legs. But they weren't expecting to be $100 million weekend.
Right.
Nah, definitely. All right. So just to continue. Do we care? Trump tariffs on China. Trump tariffs on China.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Oh.
I didn't know if anybody else was gonna jump in.
No, I thought someone else was gonna.
Nah, go ahead.
Take Rose lead on that.
Nah, I think we do care. I think we do care because like.
Oh, we should care.
I think we should care. Just because like due to the reality that, America is in so much debt, and then we're doing like a lot of work with China and like all these other countries, like you got to kind of tread lightly a little bit.
Yeah.
And
I mean, not to
put some
mention
respect
that.
on it, like.
Put some respect on China's name.
Yeah,
I think we should care.
Yeah.
Also.
Yeah. Because we don't make a lot of those projects. I mean, a lot of those products like that we're getting from China.
everything.
So it's not like we're gonna get like a whole bunch of young people and say like, hey, yo, go out there and we're gonna pay you this X amount of dollars to make this product.
So just to jump in, just before anybody else jumps in, I was looking it up. If China retaliates with tariffs on our products, basically the price of pork,
I'm about to say wet products.
aluminum, pipe, steel, and wine will go up for U.S.
Okay, so a lot of us.
Pork.
I eat swine. A lot of my brothers and sisters don't eat it, so whatever.
I drink a lot of wine.
But however, pork is in a lot of products besides the food we eat. It's in shampoo. It's in crayons. It's in
I didn't
Bacon?
know it was shampoo.
It's World War III.
Jello. It's in a lot of shit. So
Right.
that could affect depending on what you're doing, right?
Price of
You
shit
saw
is
it,
going
right?
up.
It's
And
like-
what were we saying in the last podcast? When prices go up and the streets are hungry,
Yeah, people start robbing.
robbing season.
It's robbing season, brother.
All right, you should care. Do some more research on that. Little Dicky and Chris Brown switch bodies in new music video, Freaky Friday. Should you care?
I don't even know what that is, so I'm gonna say no for me. You know what that is, Rose?
No, I know who. I'm not
I know
familiar
who
with the
they are,
project, but
but-
I know who Lil Dicky is, and
I just don't know what they're doing.
It's basically a play on the movie Freaky Friday. They switch
I don't care.
bodies. All right,
No.
I'm gonna say that.
Ricardo. All right,
I'm
now-
gonna say I'm gonna really try to avoid seeing that on the internet. Thank you very much.
They off the ground.
Wow. Okay.
DJ Envy checks De Sousa Mero because he feels they disrespected his wife in an
Yo, I'm
interview.
sorry, that was
Should we
funny.
care?
I don't think it's necessarily about caring or not caring, but the shit funny. It's just funny. I mean, I don't know. I mean, he is on a show, whatever that show is on the daytime show, right? He's the
Breakfast
only
Club.
guy.
Breakfast Club?
No, not the Breakfast Club. The one he did with his wife. Yeah, whatever. You don't even have to remember the show. It's not even really worth remembering.
It's not relevant.
Whatever. It's not even your kind of show. It's not even for you either.
It's not your
It's not even
demographic.
for nobody in this room. It's not even my wife. Whatever. But he went on there and he's talking about like I guess being
Talks about cheating.
cheating basically, right? I mean, I'm gonna be real. You're not gonna win that conversation. My mic's is off. Being the only guy on a show of fine women and you talking about cheating, you're just gonna open yourself up to the internet. So he shouldn't be too whatever. But I think he had a relationship, obviously, with Jesus and Miro, right? And they got on the show. They didn't know what they said. He called them out. They apologized, and he walked off his own show. To me, that makes him a sucker. He's a sucker for walking off his own show.
Yeah.
You don't have to care, but the shit funny.
I don't think
He's
you
a
should
sucker.
care, but that situation is pretty funny.
It's funny. He's a sucker. And he's dealing with comedians. You cannot give those guys ammo. And they clown him on, the recap on Viceland.
Oh, man.
Which was funnier than the interview, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't really care, but I did find it funny as well. Yeah, DJ Envy was super sensitive in that situation. Like, all right, you said what you had to say. You off the rip, you came in and called one of them something.
Dickhead and pussy.
Yeah, something like that. All right, you've defended your wife. You called them out of their names, and you made them apologize. What else do you
And
want?
he used a
on
misogynistic
national,
Like, what else do you
kind of
want?
term.
national
It's like-
syndicated radio show. Yeah.
Right. But yo, why you gotta check him on the radio? Because the streets talking.
Street stuff.
Whatever.
He still got a DJ in places, man. All right. Do we care? I know we talked about Marvel. We talked about DC, which brought me to this point. Disney owns Marvel. They own
do.
Star Wars. They own Pixar. In our last podcast, we talked about monopolies. Should we care that Disney owns? Not that they own these pieces of content. Not content, but that Disney owns these lanes. But like, should we care that one company is monopolizing all these creative outputs?
Yes and no.
Yeah.
Because, Disney own Lion King. Black
Damn, I didn't know
Panther,
that.
They own Toy Stories. I think they can own that. That is what it is, right? They either acquire some of these companies, such as Pixar, or they acquire Marvel. I think we should start caring and start acquiring our stories. So, if the King family start allowing those guys to rewrite what King was about, I think that's, to me, gets a little weird. That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
Or if they start acquiring stuff from Malcolm X's story or Mega Evers, or that gets a little weird because let's be real, Disney is it's an American company.
Right.
They're not gonna rock the boat. They probably never acquire the stores, but you never know. They are starting their own Netflix version. Well, their own version of Netflix.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they are. Next year, they're supposed to be rolling out. They're pulling their content off Netflix to start their own streaming service. So,
Don't you lose money with syndication though?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Because I feel like-
I'm not saying they're not going to syndicate with
Yeah, they can syndicate their own
with the
stuff.
cable companies.
I don't know because I feel like Jay
But I
tried
think
to
they're
do that
going
with
directly
Apple
at
and Tidal,
Netflix.
but then I feel like he had to put his music
Yeah,
back
but
on
Jay-
Apple.
Yeah, but Jay-Z don't have Disney money.
Yeah, exactly.
Tidal doesn't have Disney
And plus,
money.
Disney they're not pulling stuff off iTunes because you can buy on iTunes.
That's true.
Right. They're pulling stuff off like Netflix. But back to what we're talking about, I think we should start caring as a culture to start taking our stories. And mind
And
you,
changing them, switching them up.
isn't Selma, wasn't that shot up on a Disney?
Was it?
I think.
Go back. Let's go
We
look.
gotta look that up.
It's a Hollywood film. So I just think we should be very mindful when they start taking our stories and retelling those stories. I like Black Panther, but it's a goddamn comic book.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
But quite as kept, Black Panther was not invented by a black man either.
It was,
Right.
it was invented by
They
Jack
created-
Kirby, who based it off the real Panthers, supposedly. Nevertheless, and it's more so when these guys are taking our real stories. I think that's when we should care.
I agree, man. So, to a lighter note, we were talking about this earlier.
I said I don't want no smoke.
We were.
AD
You don't want no smoke with Disney?
AD killed it. I don't want.
I got my
Can't follow up
screenplay
behind that.
in Disney's mailbox right now.
Hey, whatever.
So we were talking about this before we got on air and on the mics. Joking with your friends we're all brothers. We all come from like an eclectic group of people, hang out. We work in a general market, as they say. When it comes to joking, if we coworkers, and it starts getting a little distasteful, how far is too far when you're joking with your coworkers?
I think that depends on you.
I guess just to throw an example out there, let's just say they make a joke about their race first. Like, I'm not gonna say a joke because I don't want no smoke.
No smoke.
But let's just say, because mind you, like the reason why I'm thinking about this is because like I had friends who were like Asian, Caucasian, Mexican, and we'd be at a table and we would joke about our individual stereotypes coming from our backgrounds.
You can do that.
But we wouldn't go as far as saying it about another ethnicity, another person.
I don't know. For me, it's very sensitive, and per Dick Gregory, like a lot of people aren't qualified to to understand the struggle that's associated with it, or just understand like the basis of it.
Right.
So for me, I would kind of like remove myself from it just because I know what it means to me.
Right.
So, they start talking like that. I'm like, oh, I got to go to the bathroom. Something like that. Or, if it's a one-on-one thing and I'll say, what, I'm not that comfortable talking about this or something like that. Because it's just not for sale for me. And then the thing about it is like, you're coming from a different culture and then they go off and tell that to someone within their culture or someone that, like, and they don't really understand the premise of why it's funny.
Right.
They're just repeating something that you said. So I just try to move away. And you can't pay me. I mean, like, I'm not going to give this to you for free. Like, you're not going to, and you couldn't pay me for it neither, but I'm just not going to, it's not worth it for me.
Right.
I respect that.
Yeah. Ricardo, what you think?
Well, I have a few situations since I work in tech, and typically I'm the only person of color in that. That's
just keep it real. You
black
color.
color. There's other people of color, but
You
just not black.
brother.
And I've been in situations where stuff is said via email. There was one situation where someone said something about keeping someone in check and using the whip. And I was like,
Damn.
nah, you can't say that to me.
Right.
And it was via chat. That person got it from their desk, ran over to me, and found where I was at to apologize while I went to HR. Because you don't know how far you're going until that other person says, you know what, you went too far.
Yeah.
And you just scared the mess out of them. It was like, you know what, my bad, man, I didn't mean it this way. No, you didn't mean for me to react this way. You meant what you said.
Yeah.
And so it's best just to keep those lines drawn at the job. Because at the job, there's an HR. Outside the job, there's no HR.
You do what you do.
Yeah. Well, you're in the job. We sign in contracts and sitting with folks that are paying us. Then there's a set of rules that you can actually go to an office and cite said rule. And this person broke said rule. Outside, there's none of that. In the job, you're protected by those rules. If you're not, then you got an OSHA issue, something else that can protect you.
Right.
But nah, I don't joke around with these people at the job.
Hey man, I was.
And that I was just gonna say that goes for women
some
and men
guys
too.
brought up some stuff about. It was very misogynistic, around.
That's what I was gonna jump
women,
into.
right?
Women as well.
And it was saying like something about like when you make a complaint, it was in the reference of how you complain as a man versus how you complain as a woman. It was fucked up. It was real fucked up. I ain't say shit.
You ain't want no smoke neither.
No snitch.
Because the
You ain't
moment
want
a
no
brother
smoke.
say something, oh, you said it. I ain't say shit. But it took another woman who ain't black to call those non-black guys out. I gotta say that because they wasn't black. Because brothers know if you say that shit, you going to jail. But whatever.
Yes, sir.
But yo, they made some really fucked up comments in a general Slack channel that you know everybody have access to, and she's like, "Hey, this is fucked up. I think you shouldn't say this in this channel or anywhere, but definitely not in this channel." And they eventually deleted it, but they forgot that, you know, this is tech. They forgot that this Slack channel is not just representative of them, right?
Blurred lines between personal conversation.
Yeah, I don't
and,
say shit. If it ain't related to a specific job, I don't say a fuck.
Yeah, and the other thing about that too, a lot of a lot of them play under that rule of like, you know, it's easier to ask for forgiveness than asking for permission. So like, there's people who will talk crazy and say crazy stuff until you approach them about it, and they're like, I did not mean to say it. And then like that, the voice start cracking, and you're like, yo, man, you sound crazy right now. But perfect example, 2 weeks ago this happened at the job, and we're going through this audit. So we have a young lady who is of Asian ethnicity, and she's like conducting the audit. So there's some paperwork that had to be printed out, and there's another young man who is a white male. So he comes out and says, yeah, I gave the paperwork to the girl, the Asian girl. And he's like, oh, yeah. She says, oh, this is the wrong thing. He's like, yo, but this is what you told me to print out. And then he starts to mock her and say, oh, I'm sorry. Like, I said, so what I did was, I said, check this out, man. You're better than that. You're better than that.
I respect
So I put him in a position. You
pulled him to the side, or you said that?
No, she wasn't there. And he said it behind her back. And it was another a witness there. And I said, yo, you know what, man? I hear you, but you're better than that. Like, you know you're better than that. And then he got it, and he walked off.
Oh, yeah.
So sometimes you just got to, and it's how you do things. Like, I addressed it in a way that made him feel like, oh, I fucked up. I said some dumb shit.
Damn, y'all dropped some crazy bombs
some
right now.
Right there.
So that brings me to another question. If you see something wrong, should you say something?
Depends.
Because you know when they see the brothers at the crime scene, that brother did it. So we got to leave.
Bro, I'm going to tell you this.
Yo.
Yeah, you're right. I'm going to tell you this one story. I'm not going to say where.
Blood going on, man. I got bounce.
I was in a situation where this one guy called a woman a bitch in front of the client. And me and two other black folks saw him do that. And we like, yo, I'm walking away from this shit because I don't have no smoke. Because if I even bring this up, all of a sudden one of us said that shit and we fucked. Nah.
No, but you gotta be careful with that too, man. Yeah. That could get a little messy.
Hey, yo, that's why I be like, I go have one drink and I'm out. One and done, two and through, but nothing past three.
Yeah.
You won't catch my ass.
Yeah, you can fake drink a few of those drinks too.
Man, I do the famous Irish exit on a lot of work events.
Yeah. Ooh, that's kind of.
I just bounce.
That's kind of racist what you just said.
What, the Irish exit?
Yes, correct.
How's that?
Because you're not Irish.
All right. I do the famous.
We'll cut that out in post.
I do the famous. All right. I just go ghost.
No, you should keep that. That's funny.
I go ghost at work events.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it is.
I don't want no smoke. So.
If it can't be repeated.
Hey, I say that in a room full of people. People tell me I do the Irish. Anyway, I'm not defending that shit.
It's not working, right?
I don't want no smoke with the Irish. Anyway, I go ghost. Let's go with that. All right. So just to wrap this up on a positive note, thanks for joining us. Our first guest.
Hello.
Ricardo. Hopefully you come back.
I'll take
Talk more shit with us.
Yeah, man.
Peace,
man.
Peace.
No soft talk when it comes to telling the truth.
Yo, you got to end every show.
I like that.